again, and welcome to Pearl Magazine. High ability or gifted children are often seen as privileged or blessed. However, their talent can be a double-edged blade, as some face social and even mental challenges. Reporter Tina Jang finds out why some gifted children prefer to keep their genius hidden.
I started painting when I was 4. It's very free that you can draw anything you want. Like you left some space, it isn't a blank where. It's where you can imagine it.
70-year-old Morgan Lam is a secondary school student with a strong passion for art. But painting isn't his only talent.
My elective in my school is mathematics and then also physics. I love just doing some maps and solving some equations. I like to discover more stuff that I haven't learned about or I didn't really know about that. Instead of just doing some flat research on the surface, I like to go into deeper and try to make something by my own.
From a young age, Morgan had an aptitude for science and high intellectual ability.
Being gifted is like your brain is like a browser and you open many tabs at the same time and you can think out of stuff at the same moment.
He became a member of the Hong Kong Academy for Gifted Education during primary school. Founded by the Education Bureau, the Hong Kong Academy for Gifted Education was established in 2008. The primary educational institution provides enrichment lessons for gifted students aged 10 to 18. Like Morgan, the students here are gifted in various fields.
Normally, academically, giftedness is regarded as the top 2% of the population. At this current stage, we have around 9,000, over 9,000 members.
Jimmy Wong, the executive director of the Academy, has encountered many exceptionally gifted students here. He says in the past few years, the Academy's been recruiting around 2,000 new members each year.
For most of our students or members, they have to go through a screening test. They have to be gifted or talented in a certain discipline. Okay, it can be in mathematics or in languages, in science, and so on. We even have students who took their DSC maths exam at the age of 9, okay, and plus with the high scores. 2-3 years ago, we have a high school student who is very interested in accountancy. He actually took and passed the professional accountancy exam, both the Hong Kong exam and overseas exam, and before he reached the age of 15. We have a student who just finished writing her first science fiction novel, 300 pages long.
Traditionally, an IQ score of 130 or above is considered high IQ, but Wong says that giftedness is now increasingly assessed with other criteria as well. These include specific academic strength, creative thinking, talents in visual and performing arts, and also leadership skills, etc.
Maybe like group projects, I might like take like a leadership type role and like I will assign tasks for them, but that doesn't really change anything between us. Like I would still listen to their opinions. They are my friends, and then like help them be a better version of themselves, like be good together.
12-year-old Alaya Shem was recognized for her leadership potential and nominated to the Academy.
Probably because I'm extroverted, so I like to like do the like first step and go ahead and like meet my friends. Like I actually just made a new friend today that they sit next to me, then I'll start talking to them, or in like through group projects or like group activities I'll start getting to know them.
Wong has noticed some misconceptions about gifted students in society.
A lot of people, even teachers, okay, they think, oh, those kids who do well in exams are gifted. Often, yes, but not necessarily. We do have students who are very gifted, but they may not necessarily be academically strong, or their talents may not necessarily be reflected in their school exams. It's because the exams or the exam system or the education system doesn't fit them.
To cater to the diverse educational needs of these gifted students, each year, the Academy offers over 400 extracurricular courses as alternatives to standard classroom learning.
We have a underwater archaeology program. We have an aerospace program. Okay, we even have a quantum computing program. Okay, which is the first in Hong Kong. At that time, it wasn't even taught at university level. Okay, so our students are really pioneers in those areas. Okay, but we also have other humanities and artistic programs.
While these students excel in different areas, they also share a lot in common.
They sometimes do feel a bit lonely at the school. Very often, they are not achieving what they want in school because there's not opportunities for them to showcase their work. Okay, and if they get neglected, they will eventually become like the normal, the majority, and their talents are wasted. And sometimes they don't have people to talk to in their own schools. Okay, because sometimes their own peers do not understand what they're thinking or what they are talking about.
Morgan says he has no problem connecting with his peers at the academy, but at his own school, that's not the case.
I'm an introvert person. Yeah, I barely try to actively communicate with others in school. When I just know I'm gifted, sometimes I will just try to express my opinion to others, but just after a long time, I just realized that this was a big problem within your friends or your relationships. I will be a bit talented on those subjects, and I will be 2 steps ahead from others, and I can learn things much faster. But in long term, you will just find that others can also get along with the same grade, same level with you, with the effort. And now I'm trying to be a good listener.
Richard Lau has been working with gifted children and their families as a clinical psychologist for over 20 years. He says many gifted students' social development often lags behind their intellectual development, leading to social and emotional problems.
Some gifted students may not feel other classmates are clever enough to interact with them, but yeah, the other students also have their talents, but not as strong as the gifted student in a particular way. That's why they may not always maintain good relationship with classmates. They will easily argue with others about some particular principles, but they do not have the enough social skill to manage their presentation style. So the other student will feel that they are quite aggressive or even not friendly. And other classmate, teacher, or even parent, sibling will see gifted children or student very different. They may feel that they are quite emotional, not really sociable, and sometimes they will stick into a particular standard really high that is too demanding for others.
Richard Lau also notes that many gifted students are known to be perfectionists or have high expectations for themselves, resulting in stress and anxiety. Kylie Zhong was recently accepted into the academy for her achievements in science.
I set high standards for myself. Like, I'm not particularly good at English, but I want to get in the top 10 in my class on exams. However, sometimes I might not achieve what I set out to achieve. My English might be average, but suddenly having to ace that in class feels incredibly difficult. I often feel disappointed, especially during exams, wondering why I can't do this. This can put even more pressure on myself.
She's also working on managing her high expectations of herself and others.
Sometimes I might share this pressure with my team members. I might think I need to plan ahead and do it in advance. But my partner might think it's not necessary, that maybe a few days in advance is enough. There's no need to rush things, which can only cause anxiety. So I think this needs to change. Maybe I work on it myself, but I can't expect others to do it in advance like me.
Psychologists have long discovered that many gifted students often try to hide their talents to avoid being stereotyped or treated differently.
Maybe because of my grades, people have a stereotype of me as a hardworking student. Actually, I also enjoy playing video games and STEAM. I like cooking too.
Many people just thinking a gifted student must be very talented on most area, like you're getting all A in all grades. But actually, it's not really like that. I don't like language subjects, so in my academic, my language, the grade isn't performed quite well. Other people might think that, oh, you should try it because you have the ability to done this work. Maybe you could get a full mark. Sometimes I need some flexibility or some support from others instead of just pushing me ahead.
I didn't tell them that oh my grades are really good and I actually know a lot of stuff. Like I didn't do that because I don't want this to change anything between us. Sometimes you would think that that person is probably really nerdy and they don't have any fun at all because they're a gifted student. They're so smart or hardworking. But actually we can be fun too. I hope that people can try to get to know us.
When we come back, how do parents and teachers interact with gifted children? Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. Research indicates that if gifted children aren't properly identified or educated, they might perform worse than their average peers, with their talents never revealed. Pearl Magazine's Tina Zhang finds out how teachers and parents can interact with these children to best bring out their talents and the type of education that can help strengthen their gifts.
Alaya Shum is now a secondary school student. Today, she's visiting her primary school. Jessie Yum, the former principal of the school, remembers how she first became interested in Alaya after seeing her videos.
She spoke very clearly, very well presented, and at that time she was only a little girl in P3, so that caught my attention.
She believes that Alaya's talent was easy to identify because she's well-rounded.
She can speak 7 languages. She also sang on the stage, also took up the MC roles in major events and gave speeches, etc. She actually was quite well received by her peers and even by students of different year levels.
However, not every student's talent is easy to identify, and sometimes gifted children may be misidentified as problematic.
Some years ago, we actually had a student whose IQ was 150. Since P1, he always fell asleep. But then I asked him to come out. I asked him to pick a book. And then he chose a book on cheetah. He could talk about cheetah running, wow, so fast. And it was like several seconds if the cheetah ran on the Chiang Mai Bridge. That was amazing for a P1 kid.
Among the gifted children I know, I think this is about a 50-50 split. Some are obvious, but others, what we call hidden talents, can be harder to identify. They are often mistaken for having behavioral problems, or being uncooperative or disobedient.
Anita Lau is a working mother of 3. 15 years ago, she and other parents of gifted students formed an association to support each other.
咁而家呢一個咧就係我哋去一啲學校嗰度做個 parent sharing 咯。
Anne Ho is a member of the association and also a mother to 2 gifted boys.
跟住佢喺學校都俾老師話佢，哇！ 呢個所以太要求高，有啲覺得挑戰咯。幼稚園嘅班長就話啦。
The kindergarten teacher once told me, "Your child is special. Other children see a circle and think of a ball, but your son thinks it's the globe." He said this child is something else.
Anne later found out that her son has a high IQ, which also caused challenges at school.
The challenge is my son's quietness. Having no friends at school is one thing, but the teacher's patience is another. I remember one time the teacher asked him a simple question, and he waited for a week to answer.
And it's not just the teacher. Parents sometimes also find it hard to interact with their genius children.
The children, in a certain extent, are cleverer than the parents. They think more logical than their parents. They can see all the blind spot from their parent. They can argue back. Some of them will just stop them, no argue anymore. You either listen or not. It won't work for gifted students. They feel very unsettled and really angry sometimes.
When he was in primary school, the most unforgettable experience was when he said, "You don't know how to be a mother." My response wasn't to scold him, but to play the victim and say, "No, I don't. I'm learning how to be your mom."
They are also very keen on success, and they do not enjoy failures.
Elaine Chong also has gifted children at home, and she understands the effort and patience required for their upbringing.
I remember the tears running down his face when he lost a football game. It's always up and down and bittersweet, mainly because of the intensity of the emotions and the need to fulfill their broad range of curiosity and capacity to learn. And I also find it challenging to develop a good learning attitude for them, especially with their Ferrari brain.
Elaine's children have shown a wide range of interests since childhood, and finding diverse extracurricular activities for them has been a real challenge.
My eldest son, and he came up with spiders and insects, and he will be able to name all of them and actually draw very detailed picture of these insects. And my younger son, he would be able to speak in Japanese, African language, and German, and even Russian at home to actually impress me. And Italian too. My household is very, very chaotic. I have guitar practicing at home while, we have piano practice at the same time. So it is a bit of a handful to actually meet the needs and also cope with the schoolwork, because they all go in different pace and it's not always a straight line.
While having a gifted child is a blessing, Anita Lau says that it also presents significant challenges for parents who often feel they lack sufficient resources and support.
Many schools have gifted education, very common now, offering so-called extracurricular activities or after-school enrichment courses. But unfortunately, these programs are fragmented and lack a coherent curriculum. Furthermore, the Hong Kong Academy for Gifted Education's programs are only for children aged 10 to 18, with limited opportunities for children under 10. This causes parents to seek help on their own.
In response to inquiries from Pearl magazine, the Education Bureau wrote in a reply that Hong Kong employs a three-tier implementation model for gifted education. This approach begins with school-based whole class teaching, where talents are identified through various activities in regular classrooms. Gifted students can participate in pull-out programs such as enrichment activities after school, before being selected for off-campus learning opportunities like joining the Hong Kong Academy for Gifted Education. However, some parents question the effectiveness of this model.
The Education Bureau has established courses to train teachers, but these courses are currently on the surface and lack a systematic approach. Therefore, even if teachers study diligently, they may still lack the exact skills to help children.
Some parents are actively seeking better gifted education options abroad.
We have dealing with Hong Kong gifted students and their parents. I think Hong Kong are very bright kids. We have seen many, but some of them, they are quite discouraged by school.
In 2013, Claudia Yu founded a private education center for gifted children in Singapore. And now she not only has local clients, but also clients from Hong Kong.
And I noticed not many schools in Hong Kong support gifted kids because I guess it's hard. Class size and teachers have to be trained, and also they may not want to encourage being overly competitive. A lot of gifted kids, they are highly sensitive and they can be mislabeled as mischievous, naughty, disruptive, disrespectful by the teachers, but actually they don't mean it. They're just different. You got to understand them. But teachers in traditional, the old school kind of, teachers can be quite harsh on such kids.
She believes there is a strong demand for gifted education in Hong Kong and dissatisfaction with current resources.
Hong Kong's probably is more like a project base, like holiday program. We have parents join the Gifted Academy or something in Hong Kong, right? I believe it's more like for older kids. They also do some projects, some modules, but not a whole curriculum just for the gifted kids.
Claudia says government support is needed for this group of kids in normal schools, and there is always room for improvement through learning from other experiences.
US is still the pioneer for gifted education based on our knowledge. They have special high school program for the selected students. Some schools, the whole school is for gifted. And Asia, I think Korean, yeah. And even countries like Vietnam, they have their government-run high school, secondary school gifted program. We have kids, parents send them to US for gifted camp, but not all the parents can afford.
Jessie Yam has over 16 years of experience as a school principal. She says that gifted education still needs more attention and suggests that it should be integrated into special education, which has received significant government funding.
Because they are a special group of children that need special attention and treatment. They might be gifted in, say, cognitive area. However, they might be very weak in self-management. Then in those areas, actually, they also need others to help them to develop. They need proper identification in order to stretch the area that they can be excel at. Otherwise, we won't have Albert Einstein today.
That's our show for this week. Join us on Pearl Magazine, same time next week. Bye for now.